Lots of questions. Let's bring you some answers with Makram Rabah, who is an assistant professor of history at American University of Beirut and author of books in relation to the Druze community. Thank you very much for joining us. On that
Good evening,
question,
and thank you for having me.
For people who are unfamiliar with the Druze, can you place them for us in Syrian society?
Well, the Druze are natives to the Levant, and they are an heterodox offshoot of Ismaili Islam. They have existed in this area for the longest time, and they played an instrumental role in founding many of the states in the area, be it Lebanon or Syria, and to a certain extent also they played an important role in Israel. Their minority status, they are around a million and a half worldwide, makes them very important because of the tribal nature and the cross-border connections that these people have. So while we see the Syrian Druze suffering, we see the Lebanese Druze as well, the Israeli Druze, very much invested in the fate of their brethren. So in a way, what's happening now does not only involve the Syrian Druze, but rather Druze worldwide, in addition to many minorities who fear the same fate if Ahmad al-Shara and his regime is able to subjugate Druze by force.
We're seeing Israeli airstrikes now, though. What is Israel's position when it comes to the Druze? Why are they doing it?
Well, first of all, they are catering to their internal political structure. Many of the Druze are very much within the elite fighting forces, and they have served the Israeli government, Israeli state ever since its inception. But I think what's happening now and the massacres that are being perpetrated against the Druze are in a way being done with the acceptance of the Netanyahu government, because previously we saw that Israel was more vocal in drawing these red lines. While we see Israeli jets firing at al-Shara and these Islamist militias, we still see that after the so-called meeting between the new Syrian regime and Israel in Azerbaijan, there is a kind of an implicit agreement that they will allow Shara to subjugate the minority groups, be it the Kurds or the Druze, as we are seeing right now.
Makram, we're really hearing horrific reports of what is happening and the deaths as well. What about the relationship then between the Druze and the Bedouin tribes? You know, why the hatred?
Well, this has historic roots going back since the 18th century. And what we're seeing now, which started off as a simple altercation between the Druze and the Bedouins, is something that is very recurrent. However, just like the former Assad regime has used these security incidents to intervene and to try to subjugate both the Bedouins and the Druze, Ahmad al-Shara has used this as a pretext. The problem with this incident right now, that mobilizing both the Bedouin Sunnis and the Muslim Druze in a way that sectarianism becomes the main operating system, it's not easy to demobilize these people, even if the fighting stops, which means that this massacre will eventually stop in the next day or so. But this doesn't mean that we have the chance of building on a true reconciliation, because once you play with blood, it will become a kind of a recurrent issue, and people will be very much at ease at resorting to violence as a first option.
But as of today, Makram, are you also hearing, because we've had this report, that there has been a ceasefire that's been agreed?
Well, there's a number of ceasefires and a number of attempts by both sides, be it within the Druze community or within the fighting militias of Shara. Unfortunately, once you unleash the sectarian monster, it's not easy to do it. And in order to stop fighting, one has to be equally bloody, just like what happened with the Alawites in the Syrian coast. So ultimately, there will be a ceasefire, but however, it won't be a military one. Unless a political compromise is reached, no ceasefire is sustainable.
Very interesting to talk to you. Thank you so much for explaining that. Makram Rabah, good to see you in Beirut. Around the world.